Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As I mentioned in the previous Arcade 1-Up Golden Axe cabinet review, that some of you agreed with me, some of you did not, and that's totally fine. That's what YouTube is for. Not always we all have to agree on the same subject. So anyway, I mentioned I was going to be converting the machine into a MAME 4-player setup. And so I've started to collect some parts. I'm waiting for my monitor converter board to come in so I can get started. But I figured in the meantime, when I get started on the control panel. So I thought about upgrading the sticks and the buttons. Quite honestly, I don't think they're that bad of quality. They can definitely be better. I've said that from the very beginning, especially for what they charge. But I don't think these sticks are that bad. And so some of the comparables that I've seen either on eBay, Amazon, AliExpress, I don't think they're much better than what these sticks are. And so it's either go with a full HAP conversion or go with the SANWA conversion. And quite honestly, for the amount of play the cabinet's going to get, I don't think it's justifiable to spend that kind of money. So I decided to reuse the old joysticks and the old buttons. And all I did was purchase 4 USB encoder boards from Amazon. Cost me 40 bucks Canadian. And it was pretty painless to get everything installed. The only issue I had, and I'll just zoom in there on the control panel shortly so you guys can see. The only issue I had, the joysticks have this 4-pin connector. I know it's kind of difficult to see because the camera doesn't want to zoom in. And so the encoder board has basically, let me try to zoom in. The encoder board has basically a 2-pin setup, as you can see there. They're essentially 2 pins. So I had to unpin the 4-player joystick, connector, and then just use some spare leftovers that I had. I had some 2-pin connectors, and I just ended up using those instead. So if you see, I'm going to flip the camera over to this side. So the red, the green, the black, and the yellow are my joysticks, and you can see, let me just flip you over here again. You can see I had to use those 2-pin connectors. Other than that, I apologize for the shakiness here on the camera. Aside from that, I used a USB 2.0 hub that I had kicking around, so all my encoders are connected into there. And then what I'm going to do is, you can see at the very back here, there's this connector. Let me just put the tripod down. Apologize, guys, I'm kind of new doing this. And so this connector here is going to be plugged into a USB extension. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill the back of the plastic housing that goes over the control panel, and then I'll just feed the cable, into the PC from the inside. So I think that will look quite all right. I decided to keep the original board because I can't figure out how to light up the marquee kind of by itself. The plug seems to be a little bit different than the standard plug. So I read somewhere on the internet, one guy actually suggested using the original board and just leaving the power switched on, and then the marquee will come on as soon as the cabinet's turned on. So that's a good idea. I decided to leave that in. And then, typically with my wire management, I like to use, the nice connectors with the screws and, secure everything down. But quite honestly, I didn't want to really start screwing around, with drilling, holes and stuff into the control panel. And so all I did was let me just zoom in here. I just used some, Gorilla, black tape that I had sitting around. And the USB encoder boards are just secured by double-sided tape. So overall, all this is going to be covered with that black plastic, housing that comes with the unit. So you're not going to see any of this stuff. But I thought, for what it is, it actually looks, somewhat clean. So let me just zoom back up in here. So yeah, overall, I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. I think the next step for me is obviously going to be installing the me just zoom back out here. There we go. My next step is going to be installing the LCD converter board. I was going to reuse the speakers as well from the machine. I'm not going to. I decided to go with a PC speaker setup. Cost me 20 bucks. I'm trying to keep this as less expensive as possible. And so what I'm going to do is, let me just flip you around back in here. Apologize there, guys. You see obviously where the control panel sits as far as obviously this portion of it. So again, I'm going to mount the volume control for the PC speakers on the plastic housing at the very, very back. I think that will look all right as well. So, just try to keep things nice and neat. And I was going to add an escape and credit button as well for MAME. But I think I'm just going to use basically a set of button combinations. Again, somebody suggested using, the one player 2, 3, and 4 start buttons as both coin and start, which could work. Although I'm probably going to set most games to free play. And then, the escape, I'll do the same thing as I've done with my Street Fighter. I've mapped out basically players 1 and 2 start. And that backs out of the, out of the game. So yeah, that should work just fine. Anyway, guys, so that's it for the video. If you have any questions as far as, the components used, I can link them below. It's no problem. And if you need any assistance, I'm sure there's a lot of videos on YouTube. I'm sure mine's not the first one, won't be the last. But every video that I pulled from YouTube Arcade 1UP mods, it's usually 2-player setups, with the odd Ninja Turtle and obviously the, NBA Gem here and there. So yeah, hope you guys found this useful. Again, thanks again for watching, and until next time, happy gaming.